My name's Mary Lou McPhedran, and I've been the principal of Global College for the last 4 years. When I first arrived in Winnipeg, I had been working in the UN system since 1997. And I knew that with a brand new human rights degree being launched at exactly the same time as the city of Winnipeg was going to be the home for the Canadian Museum for Human Rights, that we had a wonderful opportunity. And with the memorandum of understanding that was signed among all of the universities in Winnipeg with Rotary International and the museum, and then the separate knowledge partnership agreement that was signed between University of Winnipeg and the Canadian Museum for Human Rights, we were perfectly positioned to launch what will hopefully become an international course, an intensive in human rights, by the time the museum opens in a year or two. And in order to make sure that we had ironed out all the possible wrinkles, we made a decision with tremendous support from Rotary International and from the Canadian Museum for Human Rights, and now this year with an additional donor, the Assiniboine Credit Union, to make sure that whatever course we designed and offered would be widely accessible. And of course, that comes down to money. So we have bursaries. We have bursaries for pretty much anyone who needs to have help with their tuition in order to take this course. I've had the honor and the gift of being able to design what for me is an ideal introduction to human rights, because in much of the work that I've done as a human rights lawyer, particularly when I've been on international assignments, including when I've been assigned to some of the UN agencies to do some work, I've realized that there's a huge gap between our ideals and our hopes and our skills. And one of the biggest issues when one starts to work in the human rights field is to reconcile the pain, the disappointment, the frustration, the fear generated by that huge gap. So my students are used to me saying, know your stuff. But knowing your stuff is not enough. You have to be able to use your stuff. You have to be able to use your knowledge. You can know everything there is to know about every human rights treaty that we have in this world, and you can do real damage on the ground, on the front lines. The other thing that I've encountered in working with students, and it's been a great privilege to be able to work with the range of students that we've had here at Global College, and especially in this Adventures in Global Citizenship Summer Institute. Somehow we draw to this Summer Institute just truly amazing students. The diversity is broad any way you want to define diversity. And the way in which the students interact, usually by even the second day, partly because Rotary gives us a bus, we all get on together and we do Folkorama together, which means an entire evening on and off the bus. Nobody can sit beside the same person when they get back on the bus. An introduction to a very respectful and joyous celebration of a multicultural democracy. And so that's the context in which we teach this course. I've been able to design my dream course.